Their mental fortitude and unwavering dedication have paved the way for gender equality in the military. खाकी वर्दी से लेकर मिलिट्री ग्रीन तक की वर्दी तक, एयरफोर्स पायलट से लेकर नेवी कमांडर तक, शी शक्ति की बाहुबली कमान ने हर मोर्चे पर न सिर्फ दस्तक दी बल्कि जीत का परचम भी बखूबी लहराया और दुनिया भर में भारत का सिर गर्व से इस कदर ऊंचा किया जिन्हें कुछ शब्दों में बयां करना यकीनन मुमकिन नहीं। मैं सबसे पहले मंच पर बुलाना चाहूंगी हमारी सहयोगी शिरीन भान को। दृढ़ता की मिसाल बन चुकी शी शक्तियों के खास पैनल से भी हम आपको रूबरू करवाना चाहते हैं। हम स्वागत करना चाहेंगे पुनीता अरोरा, जो कि इंडियन आर्मी में पहली महिला लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल भी रह चुकी हैं और इंडियन नेवी में वाइस एडमिरल भी। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है मैम आपका। इसके अलावा मंच पर स्वागत करेंगे दृढ़ता की एक और मिसाल सोनल वी मिश्रा का भी, जो कि IG CRPF हैं। आपका भी जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत है। और साथ ही स्वागत कर्नल सोफिया कुरैशी का भी, जिन्होंने देश का सीना रक्षा शक्ति के क्षेत्र में गर्व से चौड़ा किया है। स्क्वाड्रन लीडर सिंधु रेड्डी का भी हम मंच पर जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे। हर मोर्चे पर आपने हिंदुस्तान का नाम रोशन किया, सिर ऊंचा किया। और साथ ही जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे डॉक्टर सीमा राव का भी, जो कि आर्मी में एक कॉम्बैट ट्रेनर हैं। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है रक्षा शक्ति के क्षेत्र में अपनी महत्वपूर्ण योगदान देने के लिए।
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be back, specifically on this panel, because here's a personal story. I am the daughter of a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force, and so it gives me a lot of pride, and it is my privilege here to speak with these ladies here, these officers here, who've really been the torch bearers for gender equity and gender balance and gender parity as far as our forces are concerned. And let me just set the context here for where things currently stand now. We have women officers across the three forces. In fact, if you take a look at the Army, in the officers category, excluding the medical corps and the dental corps, the percentage of women officers in the Indian Army today stands at just under 4%. If you look at the medical corps and the dental corps, it's about a much significantly higher number. If you look at the Navy, the number of women in the Navy currently at about 6%. If you look at the Air Force, excluding the medical and the dental corps, it's almost 14%. So we've seen a significant move up as far as the women's representation in the forces are concerned. If I were to take you through the many achievements and the many medals that each one of these women have won, it's going to be the end of this program. So I'm not going to go down that road. But let me start by asking you, Vice Admiral Punita Arora, I don't know how many of you realize this. She has served in each of the three forces. So that is truly remarkable. And she is one of the originals because she was commissioned in 1968. So what a pleasure and an honor it is to have you here. I want to understand from you, what have you seen as the big change and the big evolution from the time that you joined the forces and as you look at where the forces are today?
Hello.
Yes, it's working. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Now, I joined Armed Forces in 1968, as she has already mentioned. And we were the first one to be commissioned as a permanent commission. Earlier, they were only short service, means the woman joined, stayed there for 2 years, 3 years, and then, of course, they left and they went. So the forces, the organization was not used to having a lady officer as a permanent commission in them. So they never realized they are going to be there permanent with us only. So the challenges, my whole life was full of challenge only. And the main challenges came from 3 quarters. The first one was my colleagues, you know, my own age group and the junior ones. The second challenge came from my seniors in my own unit. And the third challenge was from the organization itself. The challenges were because these people in armed forces was mainly a male-centric organization. They had seen ladies in their house as a housewife, their mother, but they never saw ladies who are going to sit next to them in the office and over there. So that was the main challenge. The juniors officers or my colleagues thought, my God, the lady officer, she's not going to work. Probably she will say, I want to take a leave, I have children at home, and she's going to give all kind of an excuses so that she can take leave. My seniors also probably were not used to it because they never seen a lady officer coming and working with them. And my organization, because there were no rules and regulation meant for the lady officer. Everything was for gentlemen officers. So as a result, at every level, whenever I got posted, first of all, I had to convince everyone, look, I'm also going to work. I'll work, with you people, and literally, I'm telling you, I had to work double to convince them that a lady officers can also perform and perform well. So it used to take me 1 to 2 years. By the time I finished 3 years, well, I was posted out. And I was at the square one again trying to convince my whole unit that yes, we can also work. Now came from the organization. See, I will not say it was unfortunate. Well, the circumstances were such that there were no rules and regulations. Now I'll give you a very small example. See, like I asked for my posting to Srinagar where my husband was there. Now everybody was confused. My God, Srinagar, going to be posted with your husband. The ladies just accompany them. They don't get posted there. Secondly, asking for a maternity leave. So when I asked for a maternity leave, when my son was to be born, so the whole organization went through all the rules and regulations. There is an annual leave, there is a casual leave, there is a sick leave.
There's no maternity leave.
But nothing known as because gentlemen officers don't have children. So that was the challenge which we faced. And let me tell you very honestly, these challenges throughout I faced. But one thing was there. I will fully agree that they were scared. Not scared, they didn't know how to react to the lady officers in there. But at the end of the tenure, when I used to leave, they used to say, no, please send us more lady officers. We are very happy with this. So these were the challenges which we faced when I was there, when I joined over there. In fact, all these young ladies who are sitting over here, they were not even born when I joined them.
So in many ways,
so,
absolutely, you paved the way for each one of them to live their dreams.
And I only say one thing, when people ask me, for the young ladies, what? I said, see, when you are going to be the first one in that field, everything depends on you, how you perform. If you perform well, you will open the floodgates for other young ladies to join that organization.
Absolutely.
But if you fail, and then you have got nothing to, give way to these others. I don't take pride or I don't say anything, but let me tell you that at my level, and all my other lady officers who were there, I give credit to all of them. They have paved the doors open for the other officers, lady officers, to come into the armed
Absolutely.
forces.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. As I said, the original paving the way and opening the doors for so many of these officers that we see here today. Sonal Misra, let me come to you. And very quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about Sonal. She's a 2000 batch Tamil Nadu cadre officer. She's the first woman IPS officer from Chhattisgarh to receive the much coveted Indian Police Medal Award in 2016. What an absolute pleasure it is to have you here, Sonal, with us. But, just to take off from what we heard there from Ms. Arora, what has the journey been like for you? Is it better today? Is it more accepting? Is the force more accepting? Are your colleagues more accepting? Seeing a woman in charge in uniform?
I must say yes. I must say yes. The atmosphere, I don't know what ma'am would have faced, but definitely we have faced better times. And times are improving very fast. Because it's the critical number, Once the numbers start increasing for the women, I think everybody sees a role model, more so among women, among girls. We look at our role models. And the same happens with us in service when we look at our seniors and see that, yes, if she has done this assignment, why not I? So that role model thing helps us a lot. And the second thing is, the right attitude. I think that is the most important thing. If we have the right and the firm attitude, everybody down falls in line.
But what has been the hardest part for you so far, and what has been the big change that you've noticed in the way that people approach you, and what is it that you would like to tell women who are watching you? Because as you said, today your representation of what the forces can do and what the forces offer for women, what would you say to them?
I would say don't hold yourself back. You know, if we are holding ourselves back, that is our problem. The force is there, the force or our organization is there, it's accepting us with open arms, I must say. And women at the right decision-making level can be the catalyst for you. And they are there now almost in all organizations at the right decision-making level. So don't hold yourself back. That's my message to the young generation. Whoever is entering at whatever level, you know, I see in CRPF, I have served in the northeastern sector. It's a difficult area. One must not hold. We have had a lot of women who are serving right now in Srinagar, right now in the LWE-infested Chhattisgarh, from where I come from. And I must say that they are doing a wonderful job. And the women who are holding themselves back, please don't do that. It's on you.
Don't hold yourself back. And let me take that point across to Colonel Sofiya Qureshi as well. And like we just heard there from Sonal Misra, Colonel Qureshi has also served in the Northeast. She served in Punjab. She's also been part of the UN mission, the UN peacekeeping force as well, and played a crucial role there. Colonel Qureshi, as you look at your journey, at your own journey, what have been the big lessons and the learnings for you? And what is it, like we heard here from Sonal, that you would like to leave to the women who are watching, to parents who are watching, to brothers and fathers who are watching, because that's an important message to send out?
Jai Hind, everyone. Firstly, I would like to convey sincere thanks to everyone for giving this opportunity to speak at Raksha Shakti. If you ask me, I belong to a warrior family, so it was in my genes, and I wanted to don the uniform. And believe me, Indian Army is the best organization one can have. It gives you an opportunity to surmount any kind of difficulties, and I'm lucky and privileged to serve the nation with honor and pride. Today, when I joined the army as a lieutenant, I remember I was a part of the division during the Oprakram. So what my company commander told me, Sofiya, if you want to earn the salute, then you have to work sincerely. Believe me, I have earned the salute and also earned the commendation card during the Oprakram. It was all because of the good mentoring I had that time. And if you ask the challenges, I would like to highlight one incident when I was in Congo. And since you all know, the Indian Army is the largest troop contributing country in the United Nations. And I was the second batch of women officer, and I had a privilege to be part of one of the operation, which we conducted during the historical presidential elections. So I was a part of the one cordon and search team. It was a melange of force from the Swedish Army, from Tunisia, from Uruguay, and we led that cordon and search operation. We did it whole night. It took 72 hours, but it was successful. We could save the life of local populations. And next day, the force commander asked me who was that lady from the Indian Army. I think that gives me the pleasure. The people talk about the Indian Army, not Colonel Sofiya Qureshi. So such incidents happened in my life, and I had a privilege to command the contingent at ASEAN nations. I was the only woman officer among 22 nations. So I'm also thankful to my organization for giving me this opportunity. I was lucky that I was with the Sonal ma'am in Northeast, where I was again privileged to mentor the first batch of women military police soldiers. And there we worked together in many of the operations and work. And lastly, you all know that I'm a full colonel today, and I'm commanding the unit.
Yeah.
I'm from the first batch of women officer. So salute to my organization that I've got a chance to command.
Well, a salute to
Thank you
each
so much.
one of you. A salute to each one of you. As you said, it's your pleasure and your privilege to work for the organization, and it is our pride to have you here this
Thank you so
evening
much,
and share your stories with us. Squadron leader Sindhu, Reddy. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you were watching the Bastille Day parade on your TV screens. Many people were, but if you were, then you watched Squadron leader Sindhu Reddy leading the Indian contingent, taking center stage there, leading a team of 60 plus officers. What was that feeling like for you? And also, Squadron Leader Reddy, you know, you've now been part of the Indian Air Force for over a decade now, a little over a decade now. What's this journey been like for you?
So, giving the salute to the Prime Minister on the Champs-Élysées and on the French National Day especially tops my list of achievements as of now, definitely. You know, carrying the might of the entire force that was behind me and being there, leading my contingent, it gave me all that power, it gave me all that strength that I can do it. If somebody else can do it, then definitely I can do it as well. I have everything in me.
So what was going on in your head the previous night, just before you actually had to lead the contingent? You know, was there an internal dialogue in trying to deal with the pressure and the nerves? I'm sure that's part of it.
Oh yes, definitely. I almost had a nervous breakdown thinking that, you know, I actually didn't realize I was going to be the first woman marching on the foreign land until, you know, that moment when I realized I almost had a nervous breakdown. I'm like, oh wow, this is news to me. But yes, of course, my training and the way we've been preparing for that parade for almost about a month or so, it put me in a place where, you know, come what may, I have done this before, so I can do it. So that is a confidence I could carry with myself, and always, I had the support of my contingent. So when you have the support and when you have the might and you have your own strength, nothing is unbeatable. So that is the message that we wanted to deliver, and it was delivered in the right sense,
It was delivered across the country and across the world, people who were watching. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Squadron Leader Reddy for leading the Indian contingent. But you know, that was on the ground.
Yeah.
What about up in the air when you're actually flying? What has that internal dialogue been, and what's the external dialogue also been? When you actually started to fly, what was the reaction and the response?
So my dream has always been to fly, and when I was going to join the Air Force, I realized what better way to do it than to don the uniform, the pride, the respect, and you know, fly for the nation. So that's how I entered the forces, and I chose to be a helicopter pilot because I wanted to be in close connect with all my troops and all humans on ground, because that is what helicopters finally do. You provide aid to the forward forces, you also provide aid to, you know, our civil countrymen whenever they need rescue. So that has been the highlight moment of my career. Every time, you know, I was able to help our troops with logistics support or any kind of support, and they send you back definitely with a, you know, a box of fruits, if nothing, from the forward post as well.
Yeah.
You know, coming back, landing in the base and looking at those boxes, it used to give me, it used to make me teary-eyed. You know, when they had no resources, they had to thank you somehow because you provided something to them. So those moments are definitely something that I've lived for. And also when I could, you know, in my own capacity, provide some rescue mission, some assistance to the rescue missions during the flood reliefs and all that. So people used to come literally thank you. I mean, that feels like a really important moment and the most, you know, the highlight of my career, I would say.
Absolutely.
So,
and fruits as a way of expressing gratitude. What can be better than that? But Dr. Seema Rao, let me come to you. Again, for those of you who may not be familiar with Dr. Rao's work, she's often called the Wonder Woman. She has many firsts to her credit. She is India's first female Special Forces trainer, having trained the Special Forces for over 2 decades, and she's an expert in close quarter combat. Dr. Rao, I want to understand from you, what made you want to do this, and what has the learning and the lesson been for you over the past 2 decades of doing this?
Well, let me start by saying that destiny had something really different for me. I started as a doctor, but eventually destiny took me to training commandos of the Indian forces. It's been a 25-year-long journey, and a journey, I should say, of glory and strife. I've had to work hard on my physical prowess because, after all, standing in front of highly trained and skilled commandos is no joke. And but when I had to, you know, teach them certain techniques, it was obviously a challenge to me. But I took it in my stride. Every day was a challenge, but I would hone up my skills, and I would see that I would give my best. And at the end of the day, when I would get the respect of those male trainees, I train men, So, so when I would get the respect of the male trainees, I think the male commandos, it was very satisfying to me because for me, this was a selfless service to the country.
Yeah.
And I was doing it because of probably the patriotic blood that ran through my veins. My dad was a freedom fighter. Nevertheless, I think it was a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, you know, the respect that I earned, the satisfaction that I gained out of training them in close quarter battle.
You know, we're going to see Dr. Rao show us what she's actually been doing over the past 25 years. So you'll see that in action in just a second. But Vice Admiral Arora, I want to get wrap-up comments from each one of you. You know, what is it that you would like to say to young women who are watching, as I said, to parents who are watching as well, and to the armed forces to ensure that we do have a much more gender-balanced organization going forward, and people don't have to go through the challenges that you went through?
Well, I would like to say one thing to all the young, women of our country and to the parents. Armed Forces is a wonderful organization. It gives so much of respect to the women, and I think if you ask me, I always say, even if I have to, repeat my life, I would still go and join the Armed Forces. But I've got only one advice, I will say advice or whatever it may take. It gives you so much of respect and opportunities. At the same time, we should also remember, as a woman, that it's not only our privileges what we should be looking for, we should also remember our responsibilities.
Yeah.
So responsibilities towards the organization. We have to change, not change, get used to that life. It's very difficult for the organization to change according to your vision.
Absolutely.
So we should all get married into the organization, enjoy this thing. They are there to look after you. So you don't have to regret at all.
And
so
you would
I
do
wish everybody all the best, all the young girls who want to join armed forces. I will say they'll take you with an open arms, look after you, but you have to remember your responsibility.
Absolutely.
That is
Sonal,
what to say.
very, very quickly, the one thing that you would like to say to people, once you already said don't hold yourself back, what else? You'll have to use the mic.
I'll say within the organization, we must have more women at the right levels to give the right perspective of a woman's need. And as an organization, maybe at every level, there has to be a little more understanding of the requirements. As ma'am said, there can be different requirements at different times for a woman, but she has to put in her best. And she has to put in her double. And in police, when we were young, we got that lesson saying that you don't have any opportunity to fail, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have that chance. You have to succeed every time.
Yes.
So I think it's both ways for an organization as well as for us.
Absolutely.
Organization to be a little more accommodative and understanding as to what she needs at what time, and she may need certain things in certain times.
Right.
Maybe maternity leave, as ma'am said. But then when she comes back, yes, you are full on and you have to give in your best.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Colonel Qureshi.
Would you like to give me a message to the kids?
Yes.
I would like to give you a few rules for the kids, especially new generation baby boomers. Remember, whatever you do, nation should be first and selfless service. Secondly, be bold, brave, and dynamic. Be disciplined. Be courageous. Have your own legacy. Create your own destiny. Manage time. Every one of us has 24 hours. It only makes a difference of 3 to 4 hours when you play mobile or do something else. So manage your time, which is very important. And lastly, remember, you have to think about the country first. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Squadron Leader Reddy, your message.
So yeah, I'm very thankful for my organization in a way that Indian Air Force has opened its door for all streams for women. So that way, if any young woman, any young girl wants to join the forces, I will say the opportunities are plenty. Like, don't think that there's no opportunity. Even if it is not there, it will be made. If you have the determination, if you have the grit, it will be made. So if you want it, just go for it. Don't hold yourself back.
Well, don't hold yourself back. Dr. Rao, I'm not going to let you speak. I'm going to get you to do something for us. But ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause and a big salute to each one of them for joining us here this evening. Thank you so very much for showing us what a life in the forces is and what the opportunities are for women who are looking at a career in the forces. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Dr. Rao, I would request you to stay on because we're now going to see her in action.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Shireen, I'd also request you to felicitate all the ladies here on the stage. A huge round of applause for these super achievers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here with us. And as Shireen has already teased for all of you, Dr. Rao has a special something that's planned for everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts because what you are about to see now is going to be very exciting stuff. Dr. Rao is coming out. She's just getting out of her panel clothes and getting into her combat gear. So she's going to be giving us a very brief demonstration of what close combat is really about. So you don't want to miss this. Please do take your seats while we get Dr. Rao back out and we clear the stage so that she can do what she does and what she's been doing for over 25 years, ladies and gentlemen. As we pointed out, she is the first woman who has trained the Special Forces, and she's going to be showing us what she does. Dr. Rao, if you're ready, we're ready for you.
Yeah, sure. Come on. First and foremost, a very good evening to everybody. I read long back a quote which influenced my mind. The me I think is the me I'll be. I read one more quote which influenced my life. Life is tough, darling, and so are you. My journey in commando training was a very long journey, 25 years past. Then I realized that I wanted to empower women. So I devised a program called DARE, Defense to Assault, Rape, and Eve Teasing. So I'm going to be talking about that. To start with, I'm going to read a few statistics which are very astonishing. The crimes against women, 50 per hour, 5 lakh per year. The rapes, 3 per hour, 30,000 per year. And kidnappings, 2 per hour, 1 lakh per year. Now this is extremely astonishing statistics, and that's why I came up with this program. Let me first try to make it very clear that there is a distinct difference between eve teasing, molesting, assault, and rape. Eve teasing and molesting requires a minimum response. The response should be a slap, maybe a threat. Assault and rape requires an aggressive response. And when I say aggressive, I mean that you need to hit the vital targets in a man's body. You need to be using anything and everything around you which you can take and whack him, hit him on his head, hit him on his joints. So there has to be a very aggressive response for rape as well as for assault, and a minimum response for eve teasing as well as molesting. I'm going to not take too much time talking. I'm going to go straight to a demonstration. Anand, can you come here? This is going to be an eve teasing response first. So here we go. I'm walking on the street. What you need to do here is, do not take your eyes away, do not stare too long, just give him a firm look and move away. The second thing, we go on to, what's the next one? Lewd gestures is the second thing. So I pass from here again.
Oh, baby doll! Aha, Miss India figure hai.
No!
Beautiful.
No, stop. And move past. The third response is grabbing the wrist.
Baby, आती क्या खंडाला? चल आना.
No, पुलिस को बुलाऊंगी. Bus. And you move away. Now we go on to the next response, that is to, can you tell me, Anand, what it is? To an assault. It's going to be a demonstration on vital strikes, the vital areas in the body. So the first is the eyes. Flick the eyes, hit hard. The second one being the nose. Hit the nose with the palm heel. Third one being the ears. Here. It can cause the eardrum to break. The next one is the throat. So I squeeze here the throat. In this case, one finger in the notch, the other one on the Adam's apple, and I squeeze hard. The next would be the groin. So for the groin, it could be a groin kick or simply a flick hard. I'm showing it on the thigh, it's actually done on the groin. And after that, you have the shin kick. So a front kick done to the shin. The shin is a bone here, very superficial. So I kick hard. And that's it. We go on next. Okay, so now these are